I've been making art for years, and I've always secretly wondered, would anyone actually pay for it? On King's Day, I finally found out, and the answer surprised me. Hello, my fellow jellyfish. Welcome and welcome back to the channel. I am making the next 3 Pokémon illustrations today. Charmander, Charmeleon and Charizard. While you are watching me making the digital illustrations, I want to talk about the first time I sold my art at a market. At the free market on King's Day. For those outside of the Netherlands, King's Day or Koningsdag is April the 27th. We celebrate the birthday of King Willem-Alexander, and the holiday has been around for over 140 years, starting as Prinsessendag in 1885 for Princess Wilhelmina. It's loud, it's orange or red, white and blue, and the whole country goes outside. But the most important thing for me, it's the one day of the year where anyone can sell on the street without a permit or without paying tax. That's the vrijmarkt or the free market. And in that idea, I decided to sell prints of my artwork as well. To be completely clear, I have never sold my art on a market before. Even as a child, I did not sell at the free market. My grandmother and my aunts have had market stalls for years, and my grandfather used to sell his art at the night market in Utrecht. They had plenty of experience going to the market at ungodly hours, setting it all up in a pleasing way and talking to people, charming them to buy something. I did not, but I had the idea of selling my art at least once. It is also a bit scary for me, because King's Day is busy, very busy. So busy in fact that my anxiety plays up and I get easily overstimulated. What would I do if I could not bear the noise or the crowd? With other markets especially, you have to pay for a spot or a stall, and if you go way too soon, you are always at a loss. But I wanted to try it at least once. So I talked to Alex, my partner, and got his help. We firstly asked the volunteers who run the free market at my place whether it was allowed to sell prints of my art. The whole idea of the free market is to sell second-hand or handmade things, but prints are not exactly handmade. Even though lately a lot of people sell new stuff too. It is a bit sad to see the old tradition disappear like that, but it cannot be helped. We got the A-OK a week before the day, which meant we had to act quickly. So with 1 week to go, it was time to get ready. And I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. What should I sell? What format would I make my prints in? What did we need to set up the market in the first place? So I decided on 13 pieces. 13 watercolor pieces that had the theme of animals and magic. It was quite safe. I explicitly did not sell any of my Pokémon illustrations because I do not want to get in trouble with the Pokémon company. You don't want to anger them. Now, watercolors are amazing to work with, but some of my works were experimental and needed to be edited a bit. So I made the pictures, I adjusted the size and edited the colors a bit in Procreate until I was satisfied. The printing was a bit more difficult. We do not have a color printer, so we went looking for a print shop. We found one that we liked on Saturday, so that was 2 days before the market. It was a bit close, but it worked. I did struggle with the right file format. On the internet I saw that PNG was a good fit, but the printer told me they thought PDF was better for the quality. So I had to save my illustrations on my iPad on the spot as a PDF. We also bought some easels, and on Sunday I made a display from old cardboard. I even painted it bright red. And with that, I thought I had prepared enough for this first time. We also had read the rules of the free market beforehand, because there are rules. You could get a spot from 5 a.m., not earlier. You could set up your rug or table on one side of the street, and that street was designated for the market and was closed off for all traffic that day. The market was open from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. After that, you need to clean everything up and go home. So Monday the 27th came around and we woke up at 4:30 in the morning. We got to the market at around 6 and discovered more than half of the street was already full. We had to walk 50 minutes to find a spot, or anything at all that looked like a spot. But the atmosphere was very warm and welcoming. People were talking and unpacking, and everyone was kind of sharing in the fact that it was cold as could be. So the weather forecast said that it would be like 17 degrees Celsius, so I wore a top, shorts and my orange stuff. But that morning it was 4 degrees. So even though we had food and tea with us, it was so cold that day. We didn't have to do a lot with the setup because our setup was relatively easy. We had the display and the easels, we only had one size of print, and the only thing that I had to figure out was what to put at which spot. And while sitting there, I still did not really know what to expect, because my experience with the King's Day free market as someone who just walked through it was that it was busy, there were many people close together, the feeling of being rushed around and everyone being very loud. But from the side of the seller, I was way more relaxed. There wasn't that feeling of being busy. I wasn't being rushed because I just sat on my side of the rug, and actually the sound was pretty bearable. I had a lot of fun during the day. We had a family on our left who had a lot of toys and bikes that they wanted to get rid of, and on our right was a family who mainly sold clothes and cans of Fanta. We were quite the outlier in that part of the market. But then something happened I really did not expect. Many people stood still for a moment to admire the art, and even if they walked along, they still looked at it. And some of them even told me that they liked the prints. Especially the children were a delight. The little gasps of admiration and the big eyes when they looked at the cute animals. That was so much fun. The parents, however, thought that €5 for one print was too much and they'd rather walked along. That's okay though. I told myself that selling nothing was still worth it, and I actually got at the market with the expectation that I would not sell maybe one, maybe two, or maybe nothing at all. But I did sell something. I actually sold 10 prints in total. And one of the prints sold out completely. I tell you which one in a second, but first, if you are enjoying these kinds of videos, please subscribe. I'll be sharing more of these, plus watercolor videos coming very soon. Okay, back to King's Day. So many people admired my work, which was so nice to hear. I often doubt whether or not my art is good enough, but on that day I got more confidence in my skills. And the print that sold out was the otter with water lilies. So I might make more in that style. We actually stayed till 3:45 p.m, which was like 50 minutes before closing time, but I was extremely tired. I want to reiterate that the sound was not too bad. Usually I get overstimulated by all the noise, but it was quite alright behind the rug. And I had a lot of fun, and maybe I will be back in another market. I also got photographed by someone from the local newspaper, and the day after I immediately was looking for it because I thought that man with the big camera, it must be from the news. He didn't tell me he was from the news, but I thought it has to be from the news. and I was looking for it, and I found myself on the front page of the digital newspaper, and it was such a delight. I love that picture. It actually shows me having fun, and I used it for the thumbnail. So big shout out to Ricardo Smith from the newspaper who took the picture. And we are at the end of this video. These are the 3 Pokemon I made: Charmander, Charmeleon and Charizard. You can find these and more Pokemon on my Ko-fi and download them in high resolution for free. All my Pokemon are for free. If you enjoy these videos and you would like to see more though, please subscribe to the channel. I will start watercolors as well soon. The attic is still being renovated, but that's an entirely different story. Also consider donating on my Ko-fi. It helps me to make more art. Thank you so much for watching, my fellow jellyfish. See you next time.